Hi, I'm Sebastian, and this is discovery number 4 of Uncommon Gay Spiritual Warrior. Today's subject is the non-physical mind. Well, as you can imagine, everybody who is human has a brain, and our brain functions in many different ways to help our body act as a normal person. Some people's brains function improperly and they need medication for them to act properly, and some actually will never act properly, and this is a sickened and diseased mind. But the mind that I'm talking about is not about physicality. It's about the non-physical brain. So if you're in a place where you can take a break and close your eyes, I want you to ask yourself the question, when I'm arguing with myself, who am I arguing with? When I'm arguing with myself, who am I arguing with? And that would present the question or the premise that there are more than one voice in your mind. There is more than one voice in your mind. There's actually the voice of the body, hunger, lust, desire, thirst. There's the voice of the brain, it's a deductive mind, and then there's the non-physical mind, which we call the spirit. We have no idea where it's housed or if it's housed in the body at all. Some people who say they are able to see in spirit say they actually see an aura or auras around people, and maybe that is indeed our physical or non-physical mind. Take, for instance, a baby. When a baby is born, it actually is living in its mother, and it doesn't have any breath yet. And as soon as the baby comes out and the insides of its mouth are cleaned out and it takes its first breath, it begins to think. Well, I'm sure in that moment there's a lot of confusion. But a lot of people, spiritual believers, believe that babies come out with more of a spiritual mind than they do a deductive mind, a physical mind. And that it takes some adjusting to look in the physical world and make some assumptions according to from where we came from. So how do we relate and how do we get to this non-physical mind to learn to begin to exercise our spirit in a way that's healthy and bountiful for our life? Most of what the Master Jesus taught was about spiritual law. It wasn't about functioning in this physical world, more or less. It was more about going beyond what the Jews had called the law. And at that time, that was about, actual physical things. Don't touch the unclean, don't eat pigs, those kinds of things. And Jesus was wanting to try to bring us above the physical mind and say that love is more important, and love comes from a different center than the part of the mind that actually can obey and not obey law. The yogis were a very interesting group of people called the Ayurvedics. And the Ayurvedics are the people who began to understand that, or they began to concentrate or focus on the breath, because they realized that when someone was alive or when a baby became alive, it breathed, and when you died, the breath went away. So they began to focus on the holiness of the breath. And learning how to get to the physical mind, the non-physical mind, actually takes learning how to separate or divide the three sides of the mind: the physical, the voice of the physical, the voice of the deductive mind, and the voice of the subconscious mind or the observer mind. The observer mind is kind of connected or linked in a way where we feel like it's our consciousness. So if you've had an argument with yourself, so you say, I shouldn't pay all of my taxes this year because I got some cash and I'm not going to claim that cash. And a part of your mind is arguing with you, well, you really should pay all of your taxes. Well, that part of your subconscious mind, and I'm not saying to pay your taxes or not, I don't have a view about it. And I don't want to imply that I have a view about it. But I'm trying to get to a point here. If you have a subconscious desire or a need to pay your taxes because it is what will make you feel better as a human being, and then you have a consciousness that says, well, I don't have to pay as much taxes and I could provide more for my family, then you have an argument between the non-physical mind and the physical mind. And that is one way to distinguish the two minds. In your exercises today, what I'd like for you to do is I'd like for you to just become aware of the different parts of the mind. When you're hungry, listen to your body. Is it your body that's asking for food, or is it your mind that's asking for food, or is it your spirit that's asking for food? And when you're hungry for and thirst for knowledge, is it your mind or is it your spirit? When you thirst for authenticity and truth and relationship, is it your mind? Is it your body that wants sex? Or is it your spirit and heart that wants to commune with another person in a very spiritual way? I hope you've enjoyed this discovery, and join me for more discoveries on YouTube. Have a good day.